Welcome to Persona Week, the very beginning. If I sound a little different from any videos, if anybody's coming from any of my previous videos, is because I had to switch back to my Yeti temporarily, because as of right now, I don't know where to put my Shure, however you pronounce it. So, sorry if I sound a little odd, a little awkward, but that's gonna be the entirety of Persona Week for the time being, because yeah, but it should sound fine, right? You guys are used to this mic anyway, but regardless, that's just a personal thing. Anyway, regardless, welcome to Persona Week. It is, I believe, the 30th anniversary for Persona this year, and that's really exciting. We've been seeing a ton of major artwork and stuff like that for all the different characters here and there. They've been just dropping random artwork of different protagonists and characters for the anniversary, and that's really, really cool, you know. Fell in love with Persona back in, oh my god, I liked the concepts way before 5 back in 2016, but I was definitely not really as into it until 5, right? I'll be completely honest, because I did try it back on the Vita when they dropped Golden on there, P4 Golden, and I didn't really understand Persona at the time, so I just had a hard time getting into it, and I was getting my ass whooped. 5 came around. It was a lot more streamlined, and it was a much better time, right? So, you know, it's history is written, you know what I'm saying? I got into it, I fell in love with it, and here we are. So, naturally, of course, you know, playing backwards, I got into every game humanly possible that I could, you know, the fighting games and stuff like that. Wasn't really into the dancing games as much, but I'll probably eventually give those a try at some point, maybe, I don't know. I've heard those are kind of pointless to get into, and I kind of agree for the most part, you know what I'm saying? But one of the major standout games that stood out to me the most was Persona Q, right? Because eventually, you know, when I did play the games, because I played the games backwards. I played 5, then I eventually finished 4 for myself, and then I played through 3, right? Great time, loved them all, right? Then I discovered Persona Q very late, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, you know? Oh, it's exclusively a 3DS title? Okay, a little weird, but you know, I'm with it. That's fine. And I got super into Persona Q, and I've, you know, understood. It was very simplistic of Persona, you know what I'm saying? But I liked it, you know? I liked the whole, the way they handled, the maze dungeon situation. I was with it, you know? They had a unique way of setting up puzzles, the way that you would utilize the map, the way that you would scribble in little notes for yourself here and there on the map to, you know, recalibrate yourself, you know, if you wanted to memorize where certain things were, you would have certain markings on the map and stuff. That was really neat, you know, that was a neat concept. And then, you know, on top of everything, you had the entire cast of both Persona 3 and Persona 4. And so, one thing about me, right, because I grew up on Super Mario Bros. Z, you know, and you know, even before that, you know what I'm saying, Ben 10, Generator X and stuff like that, there was always something about crossovers that rewires my brain. It could be the most dog shit thing ever. You know what I'm saying? It could be just complete ass, but I will find a way to love a crossover of two things that I love so much. You know what I'm saying? Even in you know, growing up going through the Avengers era, Prime Avengers era, Iron Man to Endgame type beat, you know, I absolutely was in love with it the entire time. You know what I'm saying? Even more recently, within the last couple of years, I rewatched all of the, I've been dubbing it the Marvel Streets series, Daredevil and Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and all that. And seeing the Defenders, I was enamored. I was locked in, right? So when it came to Persona Q, I was hooked. I was locked in because I love these characters so much, and the way that they write these characters are usually so much fun that, you know, just seeing them interact was just plenty for me to just want to sink my teeth in the more and see as many interactions between these characters as humanly possible. So eventually I fell in love with that game, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's not the strongest written story of all time or anything like that, it was very simplistic, you know what I'm saying? It was a neat little concept, and it was a fun little side story, you know, that didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, right? And you know, obviously same thing goes for Persona Q2. Whenever that inevitably came out and I came to get that, I picked that up, I think frame 1, right? I was really shocked to see that game didn't have any dub work I have to imagine that's because there was just so many situations going on with, like, all of the English cast, you know, everybody was just so, it would have been a hassle to get every single one of those, the dub. I mean, I don't know, I guess it wasn't a problem for the Japanese dub, obviously, but whatever, regardless. You know, it led me to pick up Persona Q2, and I was super enamored with it. I had a really fun time with it, and it was a very similar situation, and I think the puzzles in that one were a little bit better. I have to go back one of these days and play through both. Unfortunately, one of the things that led me to make this video was the fact that I was a really, really dumb kid. I don't know what game came out that possessed me to get rid of my, literally, like, I paid out the ass for, like, the what is this thing? I have the box here somewhere, the collector's edition of the game. Like, I literally have the art book. I was literally looking at the art book today. You know what I'm saying? I have, like, the collector's edition of everything, but I don't have the game because my dumb ass needed to sell it to get some new shiny game. Probably a Switch game. I have no idea what. But regardless, unfortunately, that game had some legs, and it made me a little money back to get what I wanted. So, of course, threw that to the wind and never thought back on it until, you know, a couple years later. I'm like, damn it, bro. Like, I've literally been using Persona Q music in my videos for years now. I don't know if you've noticed that, but I'm sure anybody who's been playing Persona all their lives definitely has, right? So, I ask, where are Persona Q 1 and 2 on Nintendo Switch, right? Because I imagine if there is any console that this game is going to work for, it's going to be Nintendo Switch, right? I figured it would have been a shoo-in for those games to get some form of port over to the Switch, right? And I imagine this in The World Ends With You type situation where they just kind of condensed it into one, you know, one screen situation, which I don't think would have been a very hard thing to do at all. You know what I'm saying? Because all the bottom screen was the map. That was it. All of the visuals were on the top screen. It didn't really matter. So I think the hardest part would be integrating a way to make it so that you can utilize the map in your, like, pause menu or something like that, or just have, like, have it mapped to your select button so that you can, like, maximize or minimize the map whenever you needed to. I have to imagine that couldn't be that hard of an endeavor to do. Right? And that's, like, the only real major change that you would need to make, other than, like, maybe, you know, tidying up the graphics, because obviously, you know, it wouldn't have been, like, as clear as it could have been if they just kind of expanded the visuals on the Switch console. You know what I'm saying? There's technical terms that I know are there, but I don't have them right now. You know what I'm saying? But regardless of that, I feel like these games shouldn't be thrown to the wind, right? Because it's obvious, you know, we're not looking at the 3DS anymore. We haven't been looking at the 3DS for a very long time now. They're not in production. 3DS titles are no longer in production. Obviously, that you know, as far as Nintendo is concerned, bye, see ya, gonzo. You know, it is what it is, you know? We live, we learn, we move on. Right? So I'm not mad at them for that, but I think it just sucks that, you know, those games, those spin-off titles are completely stuck on there with no way to come back, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like if there was any time to reintroduce something for a holdover while we're sitting here waiting for Persona 4 Rewind and, you know, maybe Persona 6 in a year or 3 or whatever the hell, you know, for the 30th anniversary, I think a really good way to celebrate would be, you know, the two major games that brought, you know, the biggest casts that made Persona as popular as it is in the West altogether to begin with. I think that these are extremely important games, despite how people may feel about them, whether it be the plot, whether it be the interactions between the characters, whatever. Like, there are certain things that aren't perfect about these games, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I feel like they're just so critically important because, you know, these characters are just near and dear to so many people's hearts. You know what I'm saying? 3, 4, and 5, no matter how you want to feel about it, petty as you may be about it, you know, them skipping over Persona 1 and 2 a little out here, you know what I'm saying? Them kind of driving right past that. These characters and their stories and histories are way too important to ignore such a, like, massive collab or crossover between them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like these stories deserve to be somewhere. You know? Call me crazy for that, but I really do. And I think that these games could work perfectly fine as Nintendo Switch 2 exclusives, right? Especially for Nintendo Switch 2. You know what I'm saying? All these you know, all these great interactions, all that great music, all these great, like, all these really fun ideas for, like, different maps. You know what I'm saying? That first map, that wasn't, that was a Kamishita Man or whatever that first guy was. Like, the way you're, like, you're in an action movie and stuff like that. I loved the concept of them going through, like, different movie scenes and things like that. You know, they had the Jurassic Park one, they had the action one at the beginning. You're literally going through, like, a theater. It's so cool. You know, they had a theater as a hub. The concepts are so neat. And nice. Wow. I might be having a stroke. I apologize. But I think those concepts are really cool, and I think they deserve to see the light of day on modern hardware. If they can make it work on all modern hardware, that would be really cool. But I have to imagine that those titles are Nintendo exclusive for a reason. Maybe, granted, maybe they're just looking at a situation in which those games are just not meant to see the light of day anymore because they were exclusive for 3DS. I don't know what the deal is, what the situation is there. But, I mean, if anything, I feel like porting it over to the Switch too, at the very least, would not be the craziest thing we've ever seen. I don't think it's that much of an ask, right? Call me crazy if you will, but that's the camp that I'm in for that, because I really do enjoy these games, and I really think that they should be available in some way, shape, or form. And again, you know, it's probably going to be a while. I mean, based on the very minute amount of footage that we saw from Persona 4 Rewind, like, last year or whatever. I don't even remember. It's been almost a year, or maybe even more than a year now, since we've seen that footage for Rewind. It looked pretty early, right? It looked pretty early in development. So, and I'm pretty sure the only reason they even gave us that was because it had already been leaked for ages. Like, people have been talking about, you know, like, oh yeah, no, that the Persona 4 remake is like a shoo-in. And the only reason I didn't want to believe that was because it seemed like a dumb idea, especially after Reload. You know what I'm saying? Like, playing through Reload, I was just like, yep, this is definitely Persona 3. You know what I'm saying? So I just figured, like, maybe they'll get the hint that, you know, with all of these games already available on modern consoles, there's really not that much of a need for a Persona 4 remake, especially since Persona 4 in reality holds up pretty damn well in my personal opinion. But regardless, while we're waiting on the next major Persona thing, most likely Rewind this year maybe, or next year, I don't know, we need something. And I think ports of Persona Q1 and 2 could be a great way to do that, right? Those are perfectly good games that could work on modern hardware, I think, personally. All you have to do is find a way to rework the map and how that works, and just res up the... or just up-res... Is that the term? Up-res the characters and the graphical capabilities a little bit, and we're golden, you know what I'm saying? Persona 4 golden, you know what I'm saying? That was stupid, I'm sorry. But I think there's opportunity there for a good holdover, and I think there's no better time than the 30th anniversary, a major anniversary for this entire series. You know what I'm saying? Granted, I'm sure a lot more people, if there is a remake that should be in the works, it should be Persona 1 or 2. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. Like, those games need a new coat of paint. Badly. You know what I'm saying? And there's, like, some good-ass music in Persona 1 and 2, too, which is absolutely insane to me. But regardless, I think that Persona Q1 and 2 could be really good holdovers for the time being. But, you know what? Maybe that's just me. So that just about does it for this one. I'm super behind on this week. I'm literally recording this the day before this video was supposed to come out, so I have to get to work. So, that being said, I'll pass the mic over to you guys, and I want you guys to tell me everything that you're thinking in the comment section below. Do you agree that Persona Q1 and 2 are very important and very special to a lot of people's hearts, and definitely deserve some kind of a remaster or a port of some kind, maybe in a bundle type situation? Because I'd pay the 64 full bundle. Why not? Right? For Nintendo Switch, or maybe even other just general modern hardware. You'd get it on your PS5 if it was available, or even PC if that's possible. Or are you on the opposing end? You don't give a damn about these games. These games are complete ass. It doesn't really matter how good or bad they were. They're just pointless to port, and you don't want anything to do with it. Tell me everything that you guys are thinking in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I am always going to be down there with you guys. But with that, it does appear to be Skedaddle O'Clock, so I'm going to go ahead and do just that. I'd like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this here. And with that, I'm Gonzo. Thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor, taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!
To my last dream.